Hi everyone, I'm Diana Hatfield. Thanks for being here. Today I'm diving into something that might seem like just comic book fun on the surface, but actually says a lot about how we treat powerful women. This presentation is called Claws of Defiance, Catwoman, and the Fear of Female Power. Catwoman's been around since 1940 and she's constantly reinvented herself, from glamorous thief to complex anti-heroine. What makes her so interesting is how she's always walking that line between hero and villain. And that, I think, tells us something deeper. In many ways, she reflects our cultural discomfort with women who refuse to stay in neat little boxes. My argument is this. Media often portrays independent women as dangerous or unstable, and Catwoman is a prime example. Through feminist theory, we can see how she's often villainized just for being powerful, sexual, or simply not needing a man's approval. She's had quite the journey. In the Golden Age, she was a stylish cat burglar. In the 1960s, she's became more of a flirtatious distraction. Then the 90s and early 2000s cast her as erratic, even violent. Today, she's often seen as an anti-hero. But even now, there's tension around how much power she's quote-unquote allowed to have. To make sense of this, I turn to feminist film theory. Karen Hollinger points out that when women show sexual agency, they're often portrayed as dangerous. Eileen Donaldson says women in power are frequently quoted as monstrous. And Laura Mulvey's theory of the male gaze helps explain how film often reduces women to objects, even when they're supposed to be strong. Catwoman is often written as unstable or chaotic, but when men like Batman, or even the Joker show similar traits, it's called complex or gritty. There's a clear double standard, one that reflects how our culture views female versus male anti-heroes. Selena Kyle's sexuality is almost always front and center. Tight outfits, slow camera pans, exaggerated poses. These choices usually aren't about her own empowerment. They're about appealing to a male audience. Her sexuality becomes a weapon, but one aimed at her just as often as it's used by her. Catwoman constantly gets punished, physically, emotionally, narratively, for being independent. She refuses to play sidekick or damsel, and the response is often, make her suffer. This taps into a bigger social trend where independent women are seen as threatening or unnatural. This isn't just fiction. We see similar patterns in real life, especially in politics. Women in power face harsher judgment, are called quote-unquote cold, too ambitious, or unlikable. As David Smith writes in The Guardian, authority in women still makes people uncomfortable. Catwoman's story reflects that tension. Now, some people see Catwoman as empowering, and I get that. She's confident, clever, and owns her sexuality. But even when she's empowered, it's often through a lens shaped by patriarchy. So the question becomes, can something be feminist if it's still filtered through the male gaze? In the end, Catwoman is a rebel. She challenges the rules, and for that she's punished, or at least misunderstood. Her character highlights a deeper cultural struggle with female power, especially when it's loud, unapologetic, and doesn't ask for permission. This timeline shows how Catwoman's look and personality have shifted over the years, each version shaped by the culture around it. No matter the decade, she remains controversial and fascinating. Here are the sources that supported my research, from feminist film theory to journalism on gender and power. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped you see Catwoman and maybe other female characters a little differently.